Hi there, this is Sam of Core Yoga, and thanks for joining me today as we take a 30 to 40 minute yin practice focused all around the neck and the shoulders. We'll be spending elongated periods of time in a number of poses to allow us to stretch first the muscle and then allow us to get a little deeper, to get into the connective tissue, giving the body time to adjust and respond to the stretch, helping us to create some space in an area that with posture, with the way we work these days over phones and devices, maybe with our sports that we might practice, we have a lot of tension and tightness around here. That together with the stresses and anxieties of the situation and the time that we're living in right now, that will also resonate in the head and the shoulders. So we're going to start seated, and for the first few poses we're going to be seated in a comfortable cross-legged position. If you come to sit cross-legged and you notice that your spine arches, then I'm going to suggest that you take a cushion and you pop it underneath your bum. The sit bone's right to the end of the cushion to lift up the back of the pelvis, and that will give you some space to have a much taller spine. And then you can take Sukhasana, which is cross-legged, or Siddhasana, which is more heels into the groin, whatever feels more comfortable for you. I'm going to take it in the cross-legged position for me today. Just bring your hands onto your knees. Even if you feel like you don't need a blanket or a cushion, try it. I feel comfortable sitting cross-legged, but as soon as I add some elevation, I feel even better. And close off your eyes. And just allow yourself a few moments to arrive into the space. Allow yourself to notice the sounds of the environment around you. Maybe the sounds outside the room, maybe within the room. And without putting names to those sounds, just acknowledge them. Spend a moment as you move from sound to sound. And then allow yourself to let go of the attachment to those sounds, those vibrations. For sure, those noises may not cease, but what ceases is your connection to them. So just allow them to play on. Like you've got the TV on in the next room, you hardly notice. And then feel the circumference of your body. Feel the skin that surrounds the body. Underneath that skin, the multiple layers of tissue that consist of fascia, ligaments, tendons, muscle. All of that tissue allowing us not only to move, but to be stable and strong in the pattern of movement that we take. And go deeper still. Feel the skeleton, the bones within the body. This tissue attaches to, runs through and around this skeleton, holding it upright, allowing it to move through space. And then deeper still, underneath the rib cage, feel your heart beating. The pump of the heart as it travels fresh, oxygenated blood around the body, and takes the used toxinated blood back to the heart. And a little higher, feel the lungs. Feel the lungs as they draw that oxygen in for the heart and then release that unwanted carbon dioxide from the heart. As you travel through the practice today, the breath will be an intrinsic focal point for you. As we practice the art of yin yoga, we find stillness in the pose. We go no further than our edge. And then we stay within that space, focus on the breath. And drop the chin down towards the chest, and then a couple of circles. Draw the left ear to the left shoulder, the back of the skull back to the back of the neck, the right ear to the right shoulder, the chin back towards the chest. 3 times in that direction. You are in no rush, but as you move your head on your neck, you'll notice particular areas that feel a little pull, a little tight, a little tense. And then take that same movement in the other direction. Right ear to right shoulder, back of skull towards the back of the neck, the traps. Left ear to left shoulder, chin to chest. 3 times in the other direction. So we're just mobilizing a bit, and then we're going to get a little deeper into these spaces. Noticing in your body where you hold on to more tension and tightness. Be mindful of that as we travel through the sequence in the next few poses. Lift the chin, bring your right hand and just sit your bum on your right hand. So it's just the outer part of the bum cheek. It's just to keep that right shoulder down. So when we stretch out the neck, the shoulder doesn't travel with it. And then bring your right hand onto your right ear. And then just allow your hand to apply enough pressure to draw your left ear towards your left shoulder. But you're not yanking, you're not pulling, you're just feeling the weight of the hand. And then just stay here. Just breathe into the right side of the neck. And just notice where you're feeling that tension, that pull. When you notice that pull, don't go beyond it. Just accept it and breathe into it. And then be patient. What happens as we arrive into a space is that the muscles respond pretty quickly to the movement. Underneath that, around that, is the connective tissue. That takes more time to respond. So the longer we hold here, the more we'll feel that sensation of slow release. Now, as you've been here for a while, if it feels like your head wants to pull forwards or back, allow it. Don't guide it. Just allow the head to move as it feels like it wants to. So you're not moving it, your hand's not moving it, but the fascia is unsticking and unwinding. We talk about fascia a lot, the understanding of what fascia is and how the restriction in the fascia can affect our body is a deep science. On the most superficial layer, the fascia is like duct tape around the body. It's just holding everything in place. It's also connecting everything to everything else. So whilst we feel a tension in one space, that tension might be coming from another space. We don't feel where it is, we feel where it resonates in our body. From here, slowly release your left hand. Take your time, release your right hand, and bring your right hand to your head, guide it back. Nice. Take a breath in, reach your hands up to the sky and look up. And exhale, bring the palms together in the heart space. Close off your eyes, just hold the palms here. And just feel your right side of your neck and compare it to your left. So you're not looking for results, you're merely observing the changes in the body that you feel and notice as a result of the length of time you hold your body and focus in that space. Bring your left hand and just place it underneath your left bum, just so that it stabilizes. And you'll notice if you look back at the video on my right side, I was really trying to, that shoulder was really trying to come with my ear because it just didn't want to release the tension. And then after about a minute, it was able to drop a little lower. And this hand under the bum is just stopping the shoulder lifting too much, allowing you to get the space where you need it. Bring the left hand to the left ear. Slowly draw the right ear towards the right shoulder. So immediately you'll make a judgment as how this side feels compared to the other side. Very often in our body we hold tension and tightness more on one side than the other. That's totally normal. But over time that tension builds and builds and builds and then creates a sense of imbalance. In your own practice, if you feel one side way tighter than the other, then maybe you spend a little more time on that tighter side. Today for the class we're pretty balanced from side to side, but as you use this practice for your own individual body, you can make adaptations and modifications to suit your body. So now we've been here for a few rounds of breath. You might feel that movement wanting to happen. And if you don't, you don't. And the tissue in the body has a memory to it. You may have heard of muscle memory. And so if it's used to being released and moved, it will respond quicker. And if this kind of practice is new to you, it will take time. It will take practice. Breathing into the space where you're carrying that tension and tightness. Noticing if muscles in the body are responding by firing up and letting them go. We're going to be here for about another 5 rounds of breath. Slowly release your right hand. Release your left hand, bring it to your head, guide your head back to the center. Inhale, reach the hands up, look up. And exhale, bring the palms back to the heart space, close your eyes and feel. Feeling what you feel now, right compared to left. Maybe you notice a change down the chain. And then from here, release your hands. So we're going to take our head forward now to get into the back of the neck. So you can just drop your chin to your chest and bring your hands on your knees. In fact, as we've been here for a while with the right leg in front, we'll just cross over. We'll just bring the left leg in front or vice versa. And just allow the chin to drop towards the chest. Close off your eyes again. And breathe into the back body. So first of all, we're going to access space in the back of the neck, but we will travel that stretch down the spine. So I'm not going to tell you to roll forwards, but if that's where your head goes, allow it to go there. See if you can release the tension in the back of your neck. In the back of the shoulders. Visualize your shoulder blades. They're like triangle pieces of flat bone. And visualize those shoulder blades just sliding or gliding down the back a little. And as they do, the space between the top corner of the shoulder blade and the back of the neck, that grows longer. And feeling those shoulder blades direct your breath into that space. We'll take another 8 rounds of breath here. Really attentive to breathe into the back of the shoulders, into the space between those two flat triangular shaped bones. Your shoulder blades or your scapula, it's the same thing. As we take these fascial stretches, you may well feel like a burning sensation. That in actual fact is perfectly acceptable sensation to feel. It's the fascia within your body. The most important thing to do is not to move quickly. Slow, timely movement. Nice. From wherever you are, bring your hands by your side and slowly, slowly, slowly guide yourself up. Nice. And then from here, coming all the way now onto all fours and bringing your hands underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. And then from here, take a breath in, and then exhale, just reach your right hand underneath. So this is a bit of a counter pose. We're not going to stay here for the elongated period of time, about 5 or 6 rounds of breath. Reach your left hand out on the left diagonal, bring your right ear to a block, a cushion, or the floor. And just allow the body to soften and settle in this space. And then pressing the left hand back into the mat, come back to all fours. Reach your left hand under the right. Reach your right hand out on the diagonal. Just allow the back of the neck, the space that you've just created, additional space in. Allow that to be soft. Drawing our attention a little bit down the body into the shoulders. And we'll continue to work into this space now. And then come all the way back. Now I talked about fascia being like duct tape connecting the whole body. And that's relevant as well because you're going to wonder why I'm going to stretch out your plantar fascia when we're focusing on shoulders. But the stuff down here is connected to the stuff up here, so it's just going to aid the release process. We're going to bring the right ankle, the top of the right ankle, right into the arch of the left foot. So that means my right knee is a little bit further back than my left knee. And then slowly sit your hips back towards your heels. If they don't get there, then bulk it up. Bring cushions or blankets underneath your heels until you can get your hips on something that feels comfortable for you to come to a tall spine. So just take a moment, allow the pelvis to feel heavy. You may well get a deep sensation in the sole of your foot right now, and that's totally fine. You've got a piece of very thick fascia in the sole of your foot called your plantar fascia, and that's connected to stuff that travels right up the train, right up to the back of the neck. So from here, we're now going to take the mind's eye away from those feet, stay here. Bring the right elbow on top of the left, either the back of the palms together or eagle arms. Lift the elbows up in line with the chin. And then squeeze the elbows together. The forearms are going to drop to the right and your left ear is going to come towards your left shoulder. So we're getting back into that space that we had earlier. This time our shoulder blades are nicely separated too, so it's just traveling that sensation a little deeper. We're breathing into the back of the shoulders, and then we're releasing the left ear towards the left shoulder. So continue here, focusing on your breath for about another 45 seconds. So about 90 seconds on each side for the class today. Now some people will find it more if you lift your chin. For some people will find it more if you tuck your chin. So just allow your head to move until you find that sweet spot. Continue to guide your breath in between those two shoulder blades to that same space we were just breathing in that forward fold, in that back of neck stretch. And then from here, slowly release that. Come back to all fours, and before we go to the other side directly, we're just going to take a mounting heart. So from here, the knees are stacked on top underneath the hips, and the hips stay exactly there. We're going to reach our arms forward, bring our elbows to the floor. So we can do this with the elbows elevated, but we're more active in the body. And then bring the top of the forehead down towards a block, a cushion, or the floor. And then allowing the body to stay here. Some bodies will feel a lot right now, some bodies will feel less. If you feel less, draw your chin towards the floor, and that will increase that sensation of stretch through the front of the body. So now getting a little bit into the space right in the front of the chest, under the arms. Continuing to work on that same space around this major junction of shoulders. So you're breathing the breath right now into the front of the chest, into the heart space. Notice if your body is finding the urge to tense itself, to stop you from going deeper. And as you notice that, see if you can use your breath to help you soften that. About 4 deep rounds of breath into the belly space, into the front chest space, and then allowing the body to feel heavy as you breathe out. If your chin's on the floor, bring your forehead down first. Walk your hands back towards your head and then press the weight in your hands to lift your head. Nice. So we'll come back to that shoulder stretch on the other side. We're going to bring the left ankle and place it right into the arch of the foot. So right on top, the top of that left ankle, right in the arch of the foot. Sometimes people just put toes into the arch. It just doesn't give you such a stretch into that fascia. The front of the ankle is nicely shaped so it can really drop deep into that space. When you arrive, you cushion those hips up to a space that feels comfortable in your body. And notice that one side might feel very different to the other side, or one side might feel the same as the other side. Allowing the hips to feel heavy and to sink into that space. This time we're going to bring the left elbow on top of right eagle arms. So lifting the elbows so that they're in line with the chin. And then from here, taking the forearms towards the left. Drop the right ear towards the right shoulder. Allow those shoulder blades to separate away from each other. Feel the space between those shoulder blades. Breathe into that space. Creating some space around these shoulder blades will help us to find more space for the bones to move within the body. Therefore, more mobilization around the shoulders, more mobile through the arms, less tension in that space, allowing us to move efficiently. Notice if you lift the chin up or if you tuck the chin, does it feel better, worse, the same? Just find the position where you can get into that sweet spot. And then next time you breathe out, release that bind. Walk yourself forward and release your left foot. So just take a moment, just rotate the ankles. And we're going to come into a similar thread the needle, but this time we're going to take a wide knee child's pose. So again, it's just a little bit of a pose in between the still yin stuff. Take your knees as wide as the mat and bring the big toe joints to meet. Sit the hips back towards the heels. Again, a cushion can be nice here. And feed the right arm underneath you and bring the forehead towards the mat. Reach the left hand away from you. And then just turn the head so the right ear is coming down towards the mat. So this is a yin pose in itself. We're just holding it for 5 or 6 rounds of breath today, because we're spending more time in other poses. We're using it as a transition, but equally it's a really nice place to find some release in the tension around the shoulders down into the hips. So one of my favorite yin poses. Notice if your hand is hanging on to tension. Just let everything go. And then slowly bring that left hand back towards your head. Come all the way up. Just take your time, but swap sides. So forehead comes down to the floor first, reach the right arm away from you. And then relax the arms, relax the hands, left ear towards the mat. And so maintaining that lovely, slow, even pattern of breath here. And slowly guide the right hand back towards your face, press into the floor, and come all the way back to your all fours. So last few poses are back on our bum with the legs out wide. So extending the legs, bring that cushion back. Even if you think you don't need it, give it a try. It might revolutionize the sensation in the stretch. So sit bones towards the front of that cushion so that it will help tilt your pelvis forward. The legs are only as wide as you feel comfortable, and you're not really hanging on to tension here. If it hurts your heels, just bring a cushion under your heels or another bit of yoga mat, and then just walk your hands forward and allow the head to hang heavy. So we're going to spend about a minute here on this position, and then we're going to come to each side. Releasing the tension in the back of the neck, and the back of the shoulders, the lower back. And you'll feel now we've started to tune into hips. Again, tightness in the second major junction in the body can create tightness in the major junction that we've been working on. It doesn't matter where you start or where you finish in this pose. For some, the torso will be pretty upright and the hands just in front of the groin with the chin tucked. For others, they'll be flat on the floor, looking like it's an easy, super place to be. And then for some, halfway in between. The shape is irrelevant. Many factors come into the shape that your body makes, not just whether you're tight in a muscle. The bone shape, the bone size, how the bone's fitted in the joints, not just the muscle, the tissues, the tendons, it all plays a part. And essentially, if you've been here a while and you feel that you're moving, then it's generally muscular and tissue tightness. But if you've been here a while and you've not moved a single millimeter, then that's your skeleton. It's just telling you that that's your range, that's where it goes to, and that's okay. Press your hands into the floor, walk your hands back to your groin, and then bring a block or a book or a cushion and bring it on the inside edge of your left knee. Then turn your left bicep out to the left and your palm up to the sky. Then reach your right hand up and over the top, and it's going to travel towards this left hand. They're not going to touch. Now if you get here and you think, actually, if I drop this block, I'm going to get more stretch into my side body, then do that. So now we're just coming into the space between the right hip and the right armpit. If you find that actually your legs are pretty close together and the block feels better on the outside edge of the leg, oh, that feels better, move it there. Maybe your body says that, you know what, I can take my elbow to the floor and the inside or the outside of my knee, then do that, that's fine too. Like I say, I'm not about forcing you into a position that your body doesn't comfortably go to. What we want to do is spend some time as we arrive to our edge, and maybe as you'll feel, travel a little deeper. So as the time passes, maybe this block gets lower towards the floor. Allowing the head to fall where it feels comfortable. About another breath or two on this side. You're breathing into the right side of that body. And then slowly allowing that to release. Take the time, come all the way back up to the center and just sit with a tall spine, close off your eyes. Feel the right side of your body. Compare it to the left. And just allow that sensation to resonate. And then picking up your block, bringing it to the other side. Start where you started with the block on the first side. Turn your bicep out, your right palm up towards the sky. And then left hand up and over past your left ear. And you're just allowing your body to hang out a little bit. There's no tension in these legs. Remembering that different tissue will respond differently. Your tissue is used to having that response. Maybe you have hands-on tissue release. On a regular basis, your tissue will respond differently. Perhaps you feel that, you know what, I can move the shape of this block to allow myself to gather more space. And maybe actually that you move the block to a place that feels more comfortable for your body. You want to feel not any stuff on this right hand side, but you want to feel all the stuff on the left hand side. And you're breathing into that left side of the body. The space between that shoulder blade and your left hip. And you're not letting that left hip lift up. You're just allowing the tissue to move. And again, readjusting if it feels good. And about another 4 or 5 deep rounds of breath here. Breathing into the space between your armpit and your hip. And then slowly find your way back to the center. Use your arms, bring your legs towards one another. Allow yourself to come lie down on your back. And we'll just finish with a little twist. So bend your knees and bring your feet flat on the floor. Press the feet into the floor, lift the hips up and take them about 3 or 4 centimetres to the left. Keep the knees in the centre and draw them in towards your chest, and then just drop them to the right. I'm not too fast as to how they're stacked, but what I'm more fussed about is I have one straight spine. So if I just look up, I should be able to see my hip right in the same line as my chest. And then left elbow out to the side, left shoulder doesn't have to be on the floor. Close off the eyes. Allowing the body to soften and settle. Taking the breath into the front of the chest. And a little more opening up into the pectoral muscles. And we'll stay here on this side for about another 30 seconds. Allow the breath to remain deep into the heart space, into the belly. And then slowly bringing yourself through center. Take a moment to bring yourself back to a straight line. And then press the feet into the floor, lift the hips, bring them about 3 or 4 centimetres to the right. Hug the knees in towards the chest, rock over onto your left. Open your right arm out to the side, gaze wide. Again, it doesn't matter if the right shoulder's down or not, but we want to make sure that these hips and these shoulders are in alignment, just to look after the spine. Once you've readjusted, allow your body to settle back. Maintaining that even, deep rhythm of breath into the front of the chest, into the belly. And from here, as you come through, slowly coming back to the center, our next pose is Shavasana. So bring yourself back to a nice even place. Bring the palms to face up. Extend the legs unless that's uncomfortable on your lower back, and then feel free to bend the knees and bring the feet to the outer edges of the mat. Allow the knees to drop in together. Wherever you choose to rest, allow everything to let go. So it's not the recording, I'm just going to give you 2 minutes on your own. Your mind struggles to be still during that time. All I'm going to ask you to do is watch your breath. Watch it come into the body and flow out of the body. And really be attentive to just that. Before you bring any movement back into the body, and just take a moment to feel. How does your body feel now? You've travelled through that deep tissue release. How does the breath in the body feel and flow? And what about the mind? How is that responding? Is it still super fast, or is it a little calmer? No judgment, just observation. And then noticing in the next 24 hours how your body feels. And bring your fingers and toes, bring movement to them. Slowly walk the knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a little rock from side to side. When you're ready, you're going to come all the way up to seated. Take the time. Keep your eyes closed if you can. Take a deep breath. Feel the energy travel up the spine. Feel the softness in the shoulders. Draw the back of the skull a little back. Bring the palms together in the heart space. Namaste.